It is early coffee. It is early coffee? What? Coffee. And Leslie bought donuts and told my mom about it, which is just wrong. So my mom is in the kitchen eating my donuts. So I wake up this morning and find an email from the Tim Pierce newsletter. And I was like, you! And then, oh, Black Dog. I always wanted to see how Tim Pierce approaches Black Dog. Not a Black Dog, the Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. So many informations. What? Huh? Tim Pierce is my rock hero. He is the guy. Every time you see me put together a track for these pedal demos, I approach it from the point of view, what would Tim Pierce do? I'm a trained arranger. That's what I studied at Berkeley. So I see guitar as, layers, like he does. So he's definitely one of my heroes. So I look at him and Rob Cavallo, who's a great producer. I mean, a million things he's done. He's done the Rent soundtrack with Tim Pierce playing on it, and Green Day, and so many other bands. So these two guys sit in the studio and play Black Dog in the wrongest way I can possibly imagine, according to me, the arrogant, know-it-all German prick. Okay? So Tim Pierce is doing all downstrokes. This is all about the right hand, by the way. Right hand. And I'm an asshole, and I immediately third comment on the video. Yeah, Tim, really love what you do, but you're kind of doing it wrong there. Okay, what's happening is, when I'm doing my strumming lessons with my beginner students, strumming, like, strumming. Oh, haha, wrong neck. I urge them to always just go up and down together with your foot. It helps if you have Darth Vader feet, courtesy of my girlfriend. Star Wars! Star Wars! In LA, that means something else. Where was I? Always strum, and never change direction. When you pause, so we're going through a whole series of lessons that I've designed, and at the very end, they gotta play Black Dog as the crux, as the big climax of the lesson series. If you can play that with just strumming, you won nothing, but you know something. So I was really curious to see how Tim does it, because with a riff like this, it needs to groove, it needs to flow, it needs to have the emphasis in the right spots. So Tim went, and really, me trying to tell Tim Pierce anything. Tim, I'm so sorry if you ever see this. This is just really wrong to sit here and be an arrogant prick about it. I think he went all downstrokes, which, again, anything Tim Pierce does cannot possibly be wrong. Except this is wrong. No, it's not. Whatever the fuck works. Here's another thing. Led Zeppelin. Why am I playing this? Because I'm a super Led Zeppelin fan? No, I'm not. I've had this here for a review from Thomann, and then Mr. Dent came and peed in the case. And the guitar was lying in the, pee. Now, Tim, if you don't follow my channel, which you don't, that sounded like some guy came and peed in the case. Mr. Dent is the cat. So Mr. Dent peed in the case, and then Thomann just said, hey, keep it. So I actually have a double neck now. Okay, this is why I have this, and of course, if we're talking Led Zeppelin, this is an appropriate guitar. Stop banging back there, Mom! And, Led Zeppelin, for me, was never big. I respect them for being super influential, for being groundbreaking, for being rock gods, but I never really, I never enjoyed it. It was always too much, mama, mama, mama. Ooh, yeah. It wasn't my thing, okay? But this riff, very cool. And I'm going to show you later that Jimmy Page himself probably didn't get it. That is my theory, and I'm going to show you why. So here's what we're doing. We're doing this. One. She's sitting there stealing my donuts. That is just so frickin' wrong. a great way to imagine how to play it is just to do this and hum it. It starts on 3 and. 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. And you see at the end, you end with an upstroke, which is in a 5/4 measure, I think. Maybe, I don't know. So if you do this. Of course, I was wrong, that triplet you have to hammer on and pull off. So let me show you slowly. 1, 2, 3. So if you do this, first of all, it's very important to realize you're starting on an upstroke, which probably 95% of you wouldn't do, because you start, well, when you start from the top. And then just to keep going, the most difficult part is that eighth note triplet. And I actually never do that. I actually do triplet and 2 16th notes. Do you notice? That would be, and I do. Yeah, it's a subtle difference. So if you do this, by the way, I'm going through the Universal Apollo with the Marshall Plexi. With all the amps I have, I'm actually using a plugin because I don't have a Marshall. So for this, we need a Marshall. Probably the only Marshall that I'll ever get. So here we go, and that's really all you do. It's pretty difficult if you've never done it this way, but that way, this is such a super heavy rhythm that your strumming direction will dictate what you emphasize, unless you're Tim, who emphasizes everything, which is also a stylistic option. Obviously, Led Zeppelin was about breaking the rules, so approaching a Led Zeppelin song with fixed rules about strumming is asinine. But that's me. The thing is, doing it like this in a studio, which is Tim's, home, is okay. Sitting there all softly strumming, learn from the master. But if you're rocking out, when you're rocking out, this makes more sense and that gets you more into the groove. Let's go to the second section, which is a bitch, because it moves in eighth notes. All it is, I'm going to start from the top. That's it 3 times, or 4 times, we'll see. 3.5 times. The problem with that is it moves an eighth note every time. So it starts on 3 and. Let's count slowly and quietly. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. So this E is the downbeat, and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. So now it starts a quarter note later, which means on 4. 4 and 1 and 2, 3, no. 4 and 1 and 2 and, okay. And now it continues on 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, yes. And then the next one starts on the downbeat, 1 and 2 and quarter note rest, and then we're back where we started at 3 and. This movement, this shifting of the thing, I'm doing it slowly. Look at my leg. 1, 2, 3. This is where it begins again. You can clearly hear on the recording that Jimmy didn't get it. He wrote it, but he didn't get that it was shifting, because what he's doing is He doesn't leave that pause because he kind of feels as if he's somewhere else. He feels like, oh, I'm wrong, I played too fast or too slow, whatever, and then now I gotta catch up. The band is catching up to him. But that first time that this happens, listen to on the recording, the band has to catch up to him because he's dropping an eighth note. He just plays all the way through it. He didn't get it. I'm sorry. I know it's sacrilege to say that, but they were only human. So, and of course I never thought about it like I did for my students. I had to visualize and intellectualize it. So, the easy way to do this and to always strum this, the right things, you could start with this. Play the first 4 notes and emphasize the last one, which is landing on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3. So that's your downbeat. The next time around, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then this B flat is stressed because you're starting from the top. 4 and 1 and... I was singing wrong. 4 and 1 and... That's difficult. The next one is and 1 and 2. So you start again from the bottom. And the very last one is starting actually on the downbeat of the 1. 1 and 2 and... And then you leave the 3 empty. And the empty ones, you don't just, jerk off or drink coffee or whatever with your hand. You actually keep it going. 1 and 2 and... and okay? 1 and 2 and... and 3. That's what you do. And Jimmy forgot... Stop banging! I love my mom. Everyone should. Not my mom, their mom. Whatever. So, let me do this slowly. And of course, the 2 quarter notes. Let me show you. The first time around. Down, down. Up, up. And then the other way again. Down, down. This way, you can just be in the groove because it's this really heavy. And if your whole body is in that groove, you will play it groovier. That's actually a German word, groovier. If you start from the top, you're lost. If you start right from the top, all my students, they try to play that emphasis every single time the same way. And then you do exactly that. But it's not the same way. It moves. It's an insanely clever riff. And that was me being an arrogant, pricky ass telling one of my mega heroes how to play something that he played actually really well. But it was very interesting. Rob and him had a completely different technique. And obviously, in terms of feel and groove and approach, something else will come out if you do different. Rob did a lot more alternate picking, but then it was kind of random. So obviously, it will end up to be different. I'd love to hear your comments. And if Tim ever gets to see this, I'd love to hear his comment. I'm gonna go and get the donuts now. See you nutsos later. Yes, the donuts, please. What is left? Ooh, pink donut. Thank you, Mom. Oh.
Auf what?
Oh.